Yesterday, Ubisoft released Assassin's Creed Mirage on Steam as part of their push to put their newer games back on Steam. When Mirage first released last year, I tested it out through Ubisoft Connect on the Steam Deck to see how it ran, and it ran pretty decently. But I wanted to know if there would be any performance difference with the Steam version versus Ubisoft Connect. So, in this video, I'm going to check out Assassin's Creed Mirage on Steam and Ubisoft Connect, comparing them and seeing if there's going to be any difference between the two and which version you should really get. If you want to see more videos like this, hit that like and subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified as soon as our next video goes live. The game is also recorded on the Steam Deck directly, so your performance may be slightly better than what you're going to see in this video. While both the Steam version and Ubisoft Connect version do get close to each other in terms of performance, there is a solid difference. To test this, I'm going to be playing both versions of the game on two different Steam Deck OLEDs, one using the Ubisoft Connect version and one using the Steam version. Both are going to be set to the lowest quality possible, with adaptive quality set to 60 frames per second. HDR is also going to be on. Both Steam Decks have no modifications to them, so there's no 4GB UMA buffer and no cryo utilities too. And I'm going to be starting at the benchmarking tool, then making my way over to the opening of the game to see if the benchmarking tool's findings are accurate. I started off with the in-game benchmark tool, and I noticed that the Ubisoft Connect version of the game held an average of 48 frames per second, with a minimum of 10 and a max of 90, with lowest 1% at 25 FPS and lowest 0.1s sitting at 16. The Steam version of the game had an average of 53 frames per second, with a minimum of 20 and a max of 124. Their lowest 1% hit 34 frames per second, while the lowest 0.1% hit 24. From that data, the Steam version has a 10% better average frame rate, as well as higher minimums, maximums, 0.1%, and 1%. On top of this, the game seemed to spike more often on the Ubisoft Connect version, and the frame rate would drop lower than the Steam version. Ubisoft Connect's version also has a higher CPU and GPU millisecond time frame with a significantly higher max than the Steam version, and we want this as low as possible. By all accounts, this is showing a solid performance increase just by playing the game directly through Steam. Yes, the average frame rate is minimally increased, so you can theoretically play at 30 or 40 frames per second with either version, but based on the data from the benchmark, you will get less noticeable drops than playing on the Steam version. I did also notice that turning HDR off can get around 1 frame per second extra performance based on the benchmark tool, but all the stutters and drops were still there. I also noticed a slight RAM increase on the Ubisoft Connect version, which could be because we're playing it through Ubisoft Connect. On top of the benchmark, I also wanted to try running around and going through the opening of the game to see if there was the difference, and right off the bat, I could see some issues popping up. The Ubisoft Connect's frame rate bar was a little bit more erratic in the beginning of the opening cutscene, but with it being a cutscene, this wasn't a huge issue. RAM usage was definitely higher as well, with at least a 500 megabyte difference, though VRAM usage on the Steam version was around 200 megabytes higher. The rest of the game I tested was pretty similar to the benchmark, with the Steam version having a noticeable performance boost over Ubisoft Connect version. The Steam version consistently stuck above 40, while the Ubisoft Connect version did have some drops below 40, and the stutters that I could feel really prominently. Interestingly, the battery drain of the Steam version was also 1 watt lower, which again could be due to not going through the Ubisoft Connect DRM. However, one thing I did notice that was present in both versions of the game was the graphical artifacting. Both versions of the game have it in the same areas, so unfortunately you're not going to be able to get rid of it just by buying the Steam version. Overall, with Mirage being 50% off until October 24th on Steam, this is arguably going to be the best way to enjoy the game on the Steam Deck. The Steam version of Mirage has decent performance improvements across the board, with less noticeable drops, smaller RAM usage, and even slightly less battery drain. All of this is at the same exact settings, with as much of a similar environment as possible, and I'm impressed. I am more confident that the Steam version could hold 40 frames over the Ubisoft Connect version, and with the discount, it may be worth enough to double dip and get this one. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like and subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified as soon as our next video goes live. And a big thank you to our patrons. You guys are awesome. See you next time.